punches and numbers. My strength is counter punting.
Fundamental things that could, nice.
Pedraza's are indeed high, which
He drops Pacquiao for the first.
Tank Davis daring.
They're going to call out a knockdown.
Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Atlanta, Georgia, it's showtime! Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner tonight, seeking his third division world title. Wearing white trunks with yellow and silver trim, the young star of boxing from Baltimore and representing his adopted home of Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at 139 3/4 pounds with a sensational record of 24 wins, no losses. He has 23 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here's the popular and acclaimed three-time two-division world champion, the hard-hitting, current and undefeated WBA super featherweight and WBA lightweight champion of the world, introducing Gervonta Davis.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to rumble!
Please welcome boxing's legendary and only 8th division
Champion of the world!
He is boxing's undisputed #1 attraction, ready to take on the challenge of his career.
Now making his entrance to the ring, the fighting pride of the Philippines.
Wearing red, official weight 145 3/4 pounds. His professional record, 50 victories, including 38 knockouts with 3 defeats and 2 draws. The former lightweight world champion, former super bantamweight world champion, former featherweight world champion, former super featherweight world champion, former lightweight world champion, former light welterweight world champion, and reigning, defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, Manny Pacquiao!
Tonight's boxing conversation feels almost unreal, yet completely irresistible. Manny Pacquiao, a living legend whose speed once seemed to bend time itself, stands opposite Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a modern-day destroyer built on patience, precision, and explosive power. This is not simply a clash of eras. It is a true test of what defines greatness. Experience versus raw power, movement versus timing, legacy versus hunger. One fighter carries decades of championship wisdom, while the other carries knockout intent in every calculated step. Fans are not asking who wins rounds. They are asking who controls destiny when the pressure reaches its peak. This is the kind of matchup boxing dreams are made of. Manny Pacquiao's story has always been written in angles, volume, and relentless motion. His footwork, rapid-fire combinations, and fearless mindset force champions to hesitate and legends to fall. Across from him, Gervonta Davis represents the evolution of today's elite fighters. Calm, calculating, and devastating when opportunity appears, Tank does not chase chaos. He waits for it. This matchup becomes a masterclass in timing versus tempo, patience versus pressure. Training philosophies collide. Ring intelligence takes center stage, and every exchange carries serious consequences. This is not nostalgia or empty hype. It is a strategic puzzle where a single miscalculation can instantly change everything. Manny Pacquiao is more than a legend. He is an anomaly in boxing history. His success came from a rare blend of explosive hand speed, unpredictable footwork, and relentless aggression. As a southpaw, Pacquiao attacked from angles most fighters never experienced, darting in and out with lightning-fast combinations before opponents could react. His punch volume was overwhelming, often forcing fighters into survival mode rather than structured offense. Even elite champions struggled to time him because his movement was constant, awkward, and unconventional. Pacquiao's greatest weapon was not just his speed, but his ability to maintain that speed over multiple rounds while applying nonstop pressure. However, Pacquiao's aggressive style has always carried risk. He often attacked in bursts, leaving brief but dangerous openings during exchanges. His defense relied more on movement than a tight guard, which meant precise counterpunchers could catch him as he stepped in. Throughout his career, Pacquiao showed moments of vulnerability when opponents successfully timed his forward momentum. Against a puncher like Gervonta Davis, those openings become extremely dangerous, especially if Pacquiao is not operating at his absolute physical peak. Gervonta "Tank" Davis is one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing today because of his ability to end fights suddenly. He possesses explosive knockout power, elite counterpunching instincts, and a calm patience that separates him from reckless brawlers. Unlike many power punchers, Tank does not hunt knockouts from the opening bell. He studies opponents round by round, downloading their timing habits and defensive mistakes. Once he finds the opening, the fight often ends instantly. Sometimes even when it appears he is behind on the scorecards, Tank's greatest strengths are his precision and timing. His left hand is devastating, particularly when thrown as a counter or short uppercut. His body shots are brutal and often overlooked, gradually breaking opponents down before the knockout strike comes upstairs. Still, Tank is not without flaws. He occasionally gives away early rounds while analyzing his opponent, which can be risky against a high-volume fighter like Pacquiao. Additionally, Tank has not faced many elite, fast southpaws who apply relentless pressure, making this matchup especially intriguing at its core. Pacquiao versus Tank Davis is the classic speed versus power matchup. Pacquiao looks to control the fight by winning minutes, outworking his opponent with movement, angles, and volume. Tank looks to win seconds, waiting patiently for one mistake that changes everything. Pacquiao overwhelms fighters over time, while Tank ends fights in moments. That contrast defines the entire battle, in the early rounds. Pacquiao would likely start fast, using his footwork and hand speed to keep Tank on the defensive. He would attack in flurries, darting in and out, forcing Tank to reset repeatedly. Tank, meanwhile, would remain calm, keeping a high guard and absorbing information. These early rounds would likely favor Pacquiao on points, as his activity and movement make it difficult for Tank to land clean shots as the fight moves into the middle rounds. The danger increases significantly. Tank begins to adjust, timing Pacquiao's entries and exits more accurately. Body shots start to play a crucial role, slowing Pacquiao's movement just enough to create openings. While Pacquiao may still land more punches overall, Tank's shots become heavier and more damaging. Momentum begins to shift, and every Pacquiao attack carries increasing risk. In the championship rounds, everything comes down to conditioning, discipline, and timing. If Pacquiao remains sharp and disciplined, he can continue to outwork Tank and secure a decision victory. However, if Tank lands one clean counter, especially a left hand as Pacquiao steps in or exits, the fight could end instantly. This matchup is unlikely to turn into a prolonged war. It either stays tactical or ends suddenly. For Pacquiao to win, he must maintain constant lateral movement, avoid exiting in straight lines, keep his punch volume high, and never admire his work after landing combinations. Any moment of pause could be disastrous. For Tank to win, patience is everything. He must invest in the body, time Pacquiao's flurries, and fully capitalize when the opening appears. One mistake from Pacquiao could be all Tank needs to who wins this fight. If this is prime Manny Pacquiao, his speed, volume, and relentless pressure likely overwhelm Tank Davis, leading to a decision victory or even a late stoppage. But if this is a modern or slightly past prime Pacquiao, Tank Davis's power and timing likely result in a mid to late knockout. Either way, this is a high-risk, high-reward matchup with dramatic outcome. Beyond styles and power, this fight is also a mental chess match. Manny Pacquiao has always fought with emotion, momentum, and crowd energy. He thrives when the pace is high and chaos favors his rhythm. The faster the fight moves, the more dangerous Pacquiao becomes. Tank Davis, on the other hand, is at his best when everything slows down. He is comfortable losing rounds if it means setting traps. That difference in mentality shapes every round and explains why this matchup is so fascinating. That Pacquiao's footwork will be a major factor early. Unlike traditional boxers who move in straight lines, Pacquiao darts at sharp angles, often stepping outside his opponent's lead foot before throwing combinations. This could disrupt Tank's defensive positioning and limit clean counter opportunities. Pacquiao would likely target Tank's guard with fast flurries, forcing him to block high while sneaking shots to the body and chest. Even if those punches do not hurt immediately, they build cumulative damage and prevent Tank from fully setting his feet. Tank's composure under pressure will be tested heavily in the opening rounds. Pacquiao does not allow opponents time to breathe. He forces constant decisions and demands nonstop defensive awareness. However, Tank has shown throughout his career that he is comfortable absorbing early pressure if it means gaining valuable information. Every Pacquiao attack provides data: how he exits, how long he stays in range, and which side he favors after throwing combinations. Those patterns become critical as the fight progresses. As the fight goes deeper, the importance of bodywork cannot be overstated.